How's it, guys? This is Dayvy FPL and welcome back to the Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. Now in this video we're going to be talking about the Game Week 33 plus team selection, as well as taking a look at how the squad got on in Game Week 32. Just a little bit of a disclaimer, I'm recording this before the Spurs versus Sheffield United, as well as that Liverpool versus Man City clash. Those are only happening a little bit later on. I think the lineups for the Spurs game will be announced as I'm recording this video, so just keep that in mind throughout the video. Obviously, I'm not going to make too many predictions as I don't want to jinx the results or the players, but I will be talking about a couple of decisions that are reliant on the results that happen tonight. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So the deadline with Dayvy live streams will be making a return. Apologies for not having one for Game Week 32. This was a little bit of a tough time in the semester for me, but that is all done and we can just focus on FPL for now. So the deadline with Dayvy's stream will be happening 1 hour before that Norwich game kicks off on Saturday. So be there. As I say, it's the best opportunity to get your questions answered and also to get the most updated lineup that I can produce due to us getting that team news sometimes a little bit early. I don't think it's going to make too much of an impact on this one like it did for Game Week 32, but it's still quite fun to be there. And as I said, the latest team is always updated on the stream. If you can't be there, it's not that big of a deal, but hopefully most of you are. So in terms of the Game Week 32 squad, it hasn't been completed yet. As I said, there's two fixtures happening tonight and we do have one player more than the average, so I'm hoping those differentials come in and the Liverpool assets stay a little bit quiet against Man City. As you know, we did do that transfer of Martial in for the likes of Sadio Mane, but we have seen a drop in rank of about 1,500 places, so going from that 5k to about that 6.5k mark. Still relatively happy. It is a bad game week. I think Capkin said you can't have 3 good game weeks in a row, so unfortunately this was kind of our third one that was not that great. So the previous 2 have been quite good though. I'm looking forward to where this rank will go from now to the end of the season. Hopefully with that free hit and the transfers we can make some good decisions that see us finish once again quite high up in the rankings. But 41 points is currently what we're on. Let's see how that came about. So starting off in goal, yet again Martinez got us some returns. I don't know how for a 4.2 goalkeeper he's doing relatively well in my eyes, but he did also pick up a yellow card, which is a little bit strange, but I don't think in terms of bonus points he was going to be anywhere near them, as the likes of Aubameyang and all those attackers were doing so well in a convincing victory that Arsenal did have. The rest of the defense, Alexander-Arnold and Serge Aurier still have to play tonight, so hopefully they do relatively well. I think Serge Aurier probably has a little bit of a better chance than Trent Alexander-Arnold at getting some defensive returns, as I think that Man City Liverpool game is going to be quite a good open flowing one, and I'm pretty sure a lot of goals are going to be happening in that. But in terms of clean sheets, Doherty and Saiss both got a clean sheet there. I was hoping that the Wolves defenders would do a little bit better than just getting defensive returns. Yeah, I know that could be a little bit greedy, but I can't help but compare the likes of Doherty to the likes of Wan-Bissaka, who's doing relatively well. I think in the last 2 fixtures he's outperformed him in both of those, and when Doherty is more expensive than him, I can't help but maybe want to bring in Wan-Bissaka, and maybe if I downgraded or upgraded one of the other Man United attackers that I have, I could be looking at him. But with Wolves, relatively happy with them on some defensive form. I just hope that in the future maybe Doherty can get 1 or 2 attacking returns. The midfield, only 2 players have played, the likes of Fernandes with that massive 15 points. What an absolute legend in that game, and what a legend he's becoming in that Man United squad. They're playing really well, and I think the fixtures around them, the likes of Chelsea not doing that great, and Leicester as well, I think that's playing into the hands of the Man United team, and they're definitely looking at that top 4 spot right now. So I think with the Man United players, I'm relatively happy with the triple up, and I think that I would recommend at least a double up with them, because they're basically one of the only teams left in the Prem that really have something to play for. So I can see a starting 11 of absolutely stacked players happening every single game week. We'll be talking about the likes of maybe Greenwood a little bit later on in the team selection and my thoughts on him, but the likes of Son and De Bruyne still have to play as well. And then Martial, 3 points, my new transfer in, so that's why there's quite a lot of pressure on the whole Mane situation, because if Mane does quite well tonight, which I do, to be honest, expect him to, I think we could be looking at quite a bigger red arrow. But I will keep you updated probably in the live stream of the overall rank that we do finish on, as I do think it is important to see the progression through the game weeks. Rashford and Raul Jimenez up front. So Rashford, relatively quiet afternoon. I think he did play relatively well, just maybe a little bit unlucky not to get some returns. But then Jimenez, absolute shocker there. That's why I knew I was kind of going to get a red arrow this week after your captain blanks in the first game week. So the thought behind Raul Jimenez captaincy was team news came out a little bit before from FPL Rockstar, so you know it was confirmed that Raul Jimenez was starting. And my thinking behind it was there's still rumours about the whole FA Cup situation with the United boys, so I thought let me just captain a player I'm guaranteed to start. So Jimenez was starting, and they did have a relatively favorable fixture, so I thought that I would just put the captaincy on him. I kind of bet with the odds here on a captain that was in good form and had a good fixture and was guaranteed to start, and unfortunately it never paid off. So that's kind of one of those things that FPL managers never do, is they never captain a player in the first game week. It's one of the superstitions, so maybe I should listen to that in the future. In terms of the bench, nothing much to brag about here. All 2 pointers. The only thing about the bench is Connolly started yet another game, and he got 80 plus minutes for the second time in a row, so he could be looking like an option. They do have Norwich up next, so maybe if I have the guts to play him, I could be looking at that. So the transfer that we are looking at this game week, we're kind of doing a round robin of 1 week punts. So the 1 week punt for this game week is going to be Sadio Mane, and as you can see on screen there, it's because Son has Everton. Relatively tough game. Everton have been playing quite a lot better than they have since the lockdown period. So against Liverpool they showed some good form, against Leicester as well. So I'm thinking against Spurs they're going to put up a lot of fight there, and I'm expecting a tough game for them. Spurs obviously also challenging for that top 4 spot. I think tonight's game matters a lot. If Spurs go out and absolutely pump Sheffield United, then it would be quite hard to lose the likes of Son. But if it's a tough game, Spurs don't really get firing on all cylinders, then I think it's going to be an easy switch, especially because of that Mane fixture against Aston Villa at home. So Mane could be Salah as well. I have the money to spend there. I've got like 4 million in the bank, so I could afford any of them. So just dependent on the result tonight, that could change. Maybe if I see the likes of Salah getting off at that 60-minute mark, or if he's looking like the one that's in better form, I could easily just switch him to him. But I do think this will be the move that I am making. There are other moves that I did consider. A lot of people have been talking about the likes of Greenwood. I'm in quite a tough spot because I have 3 United players already, and I don't think I'm going to be looking at downgrading the likes of Rashford for Greenwood, as the likes of Daniel James could even start in that starting 11. But I do think that Greenwood is a good option to go for, especially if you want to save some cash. So talking about the squad and how it's lining up for the next game week, I'll also be talking about some other transfer decisions you could maybe make, or you could be looking at, as I know not all of us have the exact same team. But starting off with Arsenal, we have Martinez against Wolves away. This is kind of betting against your own squad here. Obviously, I do own the likes of 3 Wolves players, so I'm not expecting much from Martinez here. Maybe a couple save points will always do him justice, especially at that 4.2 million mark. The defense with Aston Villa for Alexander-Arnold. Really hope that he does start. Obviously, Liverpool have been crowned champions since the last video that I did record. So that rotation is yet to be seen there. I know that Liverpool have some young fullbacks that maybe they want to get some game time or game minutes. So Alexander-Arnold could be a little bit questionable there. But I do think the best scenario would be maybe if he has about 60 minutes and then they take him off after that and save him for the next game. And that's kind of how they get these youngsters some minutes. But Aston Villa, great fixture. I know they are fighting relegation there, so probably going to be a tough game. But I think in those tough games, Liverpool always do quite well. So I have high expectations for Alexander-Arnold. Then we have Doherty. I am benching Saiss at the moment because I think that Arsenal, they're a good attacking side, not a good defensive side. But in terms of their attack, I do think that they could get a goal here. I might switch that out. It depends on how I'm feeling. Maybe the likes of Aurier. Probably Aurier has more attacking threat, but I do think in terms of the clean sheet, not that much hope there against Everton. And then I'm just playing Les Charles at the moment. Newcastle have been playing really well since they've come back from the lockdown, so I am expecting big things for Les Charles against West Ham. Going into the midfield, we have Son, who could easily become Sadio Mane, as he does have a tough fixture against Everton. And then obviously that United triple up, Fernandes, Martial and Rashford, all against Bournemouth. Now with Bournemouth, it's a hard situation for them. They're fighting relegation. it looks like the odds are stacked against them. But then again, they could kind of go out and have a massive upset against Man United, or they could just kind of roll over, accept their relegation. But I don't think that's really going to be what they are all about. But Man United in great form here, so I'm really happy with that triple up. And currently Martial is my captain, so my thinking behind Martial is he's playing out of position as a striker. If he continues to play there, I'm pretty sure he'll get some points. Scored a hat-trick recently, so that could be a little bit of a temptation there, and kind of just going after that hat-trick, but I don't think so. Fernandes also has been a little bit limited to shots from outside the box. Now, I'm not saying that he's not good at them, but I think the odds of you scoring an outside the box shot are less than maybe you being a striker and you being on a one-on-one. But Fernandes is also a good option to go for. As with Rashford, it's really a toss-up between these Man United assets. De Bruyne against Southampton, hoping that he plays as well. And then obviously Raul Jimenez against Arsenal. Now I think if the likes of Raul Jimenez did a lot better last game week, then I would be maybe even considering the captaincy here, but I just can't trust him right now, but I'm still hoping that he does quite well. The bench is quite interesting as well. We got Saiss, who could easily come on for one of the other defenders, and then also Connolly against Norwich. I spoke about, if I have the guts to play him, I do think that there could be some points in there, but I just can't really validate benching one of these other players in the starting 11. And then obviously Dayvy's not going to be playing him. He's only going to be on my third spot for the rest of the season. But other moves you could make, I spoke about the likes of Rashford. I think a move that you could look to make, if you do have 2 free transfers, downgrade the likes of Rashford to the likes of Greenwood, and then upgrade maybe one of your midfielders. I think a good upgrade would maybe be the likes of Davies to whoever you can afford, and then you kind of play a 3-5-2 this week or something like that. So if you have this exact squad and 2 free transfers, that is definitely something you can consider. The other thing is, if you don't own 3 United players, I do think Aaron Wan-Bissaka is a potentially good option for the upcoming game weeks. But otherwise, those 2 games tonight are going to be quite interesting and probably going to be quite a lot of insight into the transfers we make. And then otherwise, I'll catch you guys on that Deadline with Davey stream for the final confirmed team. So that's basically going to wrap up the video, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy it. Please like it if you did, and subscribe if you're new or have not subscribed yet. As I said, I'll be checking you guys in the stream or over on Twitter at DayvyFPL. I'm going to be signing off. It's been Dayvy FPL, and I'm out. Cheers. Bye.